This podcast is part of the Shareable Podcast Network. Learn more at shareable.fm. This is a Shareable mini episode where I ask the guest 10 important, big questions, and they have to answer them as fast as they possibly can. I call it Think Fast. I'd like to welcome back to Shareable my guest, Marc Pitman, and this episode is Think Fast. So, Marc, the way this is going to go, I'm going to ask you 10 questions and 10 questions only, and I'm going to ask you to think fast. You can answer as slow as you'd like, but I would like you to answer the questions as quickly as you can. So, first, what book should everyone listening read next?
I would say the first thing that comes to mind is The 9 Types of Leadership by Beatrice Chestnut.
Excellent. What's your favorite podcast?
Well, I'm currently really into the Shareable podcast.
I usually used to give a caveat to that. You can't say shareable, but I'll take it today.
Go for it. Good.
What negative experience in your life are you most happy happened to you?
I think the one that's coming to mind is I spent most of my life wanting to be a church planner, in starting a church community in a community that didn't have our denomination. And we did that after I went to college for that. I lived in Jerusalem for a year, studied 5 semesters of Hebrew, studied Greek. So I could really I'm a nerd. So I wanted to get that. I wanted to be faithful in that. 15 years of life happened. And then I was given the opportunity to be the church planner. And after 4 years, we closed it over 2 weeks of very detailed and very specific funeral for the church. That iteration wasn't going to go. And it was a failure. But the process showed me, and there was no structure in our denomination for what to do with failed church plants. There were structures for the new emerging church planters and the people that were pastoring, but not any for the people that had left their communities, lived among strangers, and didn't have a church to go to because they closed the one that they wanted to go to. So I think what helped me was not only meeting with some friends on that, but also being really able to define failure isn't definitive. I am not a failure because I had a failure, but it's really hard when you give your heart and soul to something and it doesn't work. And what happens because of this, I've been able to see most of the stories that we love, most of the people that we celebrate, they didn't get it right on the first time. It was always in the aftermath, the plan B, the next step. So I think the one that's coming to mind is failing as a church planner.
Got it. Okay. What is the lesson that you wish that you had learned earlier in life?
I don't know, because I've learned so many lessons early in life. The one that's coming to mind, and playing the game, is some more financial management skills. That isn't something that has come naturally to me. I've had to really fight for those. And I think I would probably have liked to learn that tax deductible doesn't mean free. When you're doing a business expense, it's tax deductible. It doesn't mean it's a free thing. You're still paying for it.
Oh man, I relate to that like so hard. So hard. One of the things I love about doing the Think Fast episodes is that I actually like to ask questions that you have to answer quickly, but that actually are really deep, thoughtful kind of questions.
Yeah, I love what you're pulling out of me. This is really interesting.
What's the most important skill of the future?
I'm wrestling with some sort of adaptability or resilience. Change is endemic, and I don't know if it's getting faster. I think every generation thinks it's getting faster. So I am a generation. I think it's getting faster. And I think it's being able to live in that kind of liminal space of honoring what's gone on behind us, but also being open to what's going before us. And being that kind of resilient, agile, sort of flexible person that's able to do that.
I dig it. Okay. What industry or career path has the most promising future or potential?
Anything that involves people. I think there's all the tech that's going on is going to help us be better people. It has the potential to help us be better people. And I think where the shortcomings in tech are the fact that we're forgetting how to be human to human. And I think the people that know how to do that really well, that's a very marketable skill.
Love it. What's one thing that everybody listening should go do today?
I would say get clear on your values. Really know what it is that you live and die for. What is a battle what's the hill you're going to take if there's a fight? And knowing what few of those are. It could be in my book. It could be Brent Mansoir's Black Sheep. It could be just Google values inventory. It's all over. There are so many. But having that clarity and the ability to say, these are the 4 or 5 things that I know I want in my life. frees you up from unexaminedly or unintentionally just feeding other people's values and living out their values for you when they may not be yours entirely. And it also reduces stress because you realize, oh, that's nice to do, but it's not something that I'm committed to.
Yep. Love it. Okay, cool. If you could have any one superpower, what would it be? Classic question.
Darn it. I should have done my homework. I thought I'm going to talk to Jeff. I have to think about superpowers. It would be flight. I just love, I'm a sucker for the the Superman sort of fist out, just going where he wants to go. And I love that.
So you would opt, this is not a question that this doesn't count towards the 10, but would you opt for a super suit or so Iron Man or Superman type flight? Which would you prefer, the suit or just the ability to just take off?
Oh, I don't want to have it be encumbered by a suit.
Gets cold up there though.
Oh, it totally does. I totally see the benefits of the suit, but the suit can fail. So I'd like to just be able to go.
Fair. That makes sense. Okay.
And if I don't know if it's Superman or Mighty Mouse. I was kind of going between the two. Here I am to save the day. There's something.
Works. I mean, they're both good examples. That mouse is from Krypton, right? I think. Anyway,
maybe.
All right. So if there was a drug or a vaccine that you could take that would give you an 80% chance of developing a superpower or 20% chance of developing an incurable terminal disease, would you take it?
No, I like who I am.
Okay, cool. The final question.
Or I'm learning to like who I am.
Final question. Did you see Avengers Infinity War and Endgame? Did you watch it?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you the very quick premise of it.
Like most everybody dies in one of them.
Yeah. So
sorry, spoiler alert.
It's okay. At this point, if you haven't seen it, whatever. So there's this villain named Thanos. Thanos is on a quest to collect these things called the Infinity Stone. And if he can get all 6 of them and put it in this glove that he has called the Infinity Gauntlet, he can snap his fingers and he can wipe out half of life in the entire universe. That's his goal. Having this gauntlet and snapping your fingers gives you the ability to do absolutely anything. And in most people, and at the end of Avengers Endgame, Tony Stark, Iron Man, gets the stones. He snaps his finger to reverse Thanos's snap to bring everybody back, but it costs him his life. So he saves half of all life in the entire universe by snapping his finger.
You've just saved me like 6 hours of my life. Thank you. I don't have to watch you.
Please go watch it. It's amazing.
Okay.
So, Mark, I'm going to give you the Infinity Gauntlet. I've acquired all 6 Infinity Stones, and I'm going to put the glove on your hand. You can choose to snap or not snap. But if you do snap, you're going to be capable of changing anything at all, making whatever impact you want, but it will cost you your life.
Oh, it'll cost me my life. Okay.
Yeah. Do you snap? And if you do, what's the change you made in the world?
I would totally snap if it meant that everybody could, the shell that most of us live under of self-doubt or not believing we can actually do what we really want to do. If that meant that would be shattered and people could be freed up to be themselves and with confidence, I would do it. I would snap in a heartbeat.
This has been Think Fast, and I would like to say that, Mark, you have been an excellent guest on Think Fast, which makes this episode shareable. Wait, don't leave. If you've never listened to my fancy outro, do it just once for me, please. Okay, if you enjoy Shareable and you find it valuable, there's a few ways that you can support the show. 1, you can share it on social media, which I strongly encourage. I mean, it's literally the name of the show, Shareable. 2, you can review it on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're an Overcast user, as many of my listeners are, make sure to click that star button on the episodes that you like. The third way that you could support the show is by blogging about it or discussing it on your own podcast or even by making a YouTube video where you talk about one of the episodes. And then the final way that you can support the show is by supporting it directly on Patreon. You can find the link in the show notes. Now, before I let you go, I want to tell you about one other thing. You see, Shareable is just one of many projects that I'm working on at any given time. I've got another podcast called Rogue. I do a live streaming show every week called The Heroic Council. I've got a blog where I release a blog post twice a week. And if you're looking to keep up with all sorts of different content that can help you grow and become a superhero in life, I want you to check out jeffgibbard.me. That's where I list all of my current projects and projects that are coming up in the future, including my forthcoming book, The Lovable Leader. It would mean a lot to me if you could go and check out some of the other things I've worked on, because I put just as much of my heart into those projects as I do into Shareable. Thank you so much for being a listener. Thank you for being a supporter, and I hope to see you here on the next episode of Shareable.